Life is full of choices. Every time we stop and think before deciding, we're not just picking an option, we're shaping who we become. Today, let's explore what it means to have a truly good will. When people are in a conflicting situation, they will conduct self-forming actions, deliberate on whether to follow their desires or chase for values. Through self-forming action, individuals' personalities are shaped. Eventually, people will end up being who they are, and since they are the one who make choices, they have ultimate responsibilities for their future selves. However, if, as Kant asserted, a free will truly exists, then it is worth considering what is a good will. Before delving into explanation for a good will, we need to get to know a few essential concepts. First of all, reason. According to Immanuel Kant, a German philosopher and one of the central thinkers of the Enlightenment, reason can be categorized into two types: pure reason and practical reason. As to pure reason, it will tell you the facts and cause and effect. For example, a pencil falls on the ground. Your pure reason just let you know that there is a pencil falling onto the ground. On the other hand, practical reason will instruct your behaviors by stipulating a guideline, duty, for you to follow. For example, after you see the pencil on the ground, you will probably decide to collect and return it back to the owner. In this case, it is practical reason that guide you to behave like that. Therefore, when discussing about a good will, we should consider practical reason instead of pure reason. Moreover, practical reason is indispensable to our behaviors. This is one of the key reasons why it exists. In fact, a significant difference between humans and animals is that humans have practical reason while animals only have instincts. From a nature point of view, any organ of a living being has its unique, useful function. If humans' aims are to survive and live happily, humans, then, should not develop practical reason because they can survive merely with instincts. Compared to reason, instincts are more direct and accurate. Animals use instincts for survival, reproduction, and happiness. Therefore, reason is given to humans for other purposes, rather than simply for survival or chasing for happiness. So its aim would be stipulating a criterion, thereby instructing people's behaviors. Secondly, duty. It is not the duty that we are talking about every day. The duty here particularly refers to the criterion that is stipulated by reason. Now, a good will not occur not in every action we make in our daily life, because, as suggested by Robert Kane, most of the time people behave based on habits, characteristics, and desires. When it comes to a situation where we encounter a moral dilemma, our reasons stipulate a rule and oblige us to follow it. For example, I see an old man passing out on the street, but I am hurrying to go to a company for an interview as requested. In this case, I can either choose to ignore the man, rushing to the company, or help the man, sending him to the hospital. The former one is out of my self-interests, while the latter can be considered as my reason obliging me to help out. Because in this scenario, my reason will tell me that I should help those in need, which is a duty it stipulates for me to obey. So as a result, I choose to help the old man, try to call an ambulance for him. However, my phone is out of battery, so I cannot make a call. Eventually, due to my inability to help him, I just ask a random person to call him an ambulance, and then walk away for my interview. In this scenario, no matter that old man end up in the hospital or not, since I have already tried to help him and prioritize helping over my interview, my behavior would be morally good without limitation, and my will would be a good will. Knowing that a will that obey duties that reason stipulates in a moral dilemma can make it a good will, then what duties is a good? In order to demonstrate this, Kant proposes a concept, categorical imperatives, which he asserts is the only way to examine the nature of a duty. Basically, categorical imperatives means to think what will happen if this duty is generalized to other people in the world. If all the rest of people behave according to this duty, then will the society functions worse? If the answer is yes, this duty will not be a good one, so we should not act based on it. In the scenario where I help the old man, the duty my reason stipulates is to help others in need. And this is actually in line with social norms or universal values, which can make the society functions better. if everyone follow that duty. Therefore, my will is a good one. In summary, the only determinant of a good will is whether do people act based on the duty their reason stipulates. Whether a will is good or bad is independent of the results it produces. Therefore, when making decisions in a moral dilemma, as long as the person's choices are not out of his desires, inclinations, and self-interests, but out of the duty that reason stipulates, his act will be morally good without limitation, along with his will becoming a good will. Nevertheless, many detractors of Kant's ideas about good contend that human beings are not able to not consider for the sake of their self-interests. Moreover, the inclination to satisfy our desires and self-interests should be interpreted as a moral duty that our reason stipulates, as the consideration of our own needs is a form of self-love. Additionally, many argue that not everyone is a sage and can always put moral duty first instead of his own interests, so his stipulation as to what makes a good will is overtly rigorous. Accordingly, a middle ground was proposed, to find a balance between happiness since duties, since self-interest, and altruism can coexist, and it is not black and white. This idea is actually closer to Aristotle's virtue ethics, or to modern realistic ethics. A person must first secure a good foundation for their own life in order to better fulfill duties and help others. This does not mean being immoral. Rather, it regards taking care of oneself as a legitimate part of one's obligations. Thanks for watching. What's your idea regarding what makes a good will? Please let me know in the comments.